The button is pushed.
Push the button. The
Push
button is pushed.
The button is pushed.
On episode 35, series 2, Ladies Wot Pod. Welcome. Welcome one and all, boys and girls. Coach travellers, I hope you are watching. And because I told you all about it. Yes, we are Ladies Wot Pod, two women of a certain age who chat a lot about rugby, but mainly Saints. And to introduce ourselves, I am Liz Saunders, Chairman of the Saints Supporters Club, Chief Halo, and I have a new string to my bow, Coach Leader in Chief of the number one coach. I just collect these meaning. Oh, and quite worthy media tart, I think, this week. After, it's no point in knowing a TV cameraman if you can't get your physio on the TV, is there? No point. He'd lined that up. He waited for ages, and then got me in my best Huffy face. So,
yes, best Huffy face. Yes, Bull. It was good to see Bull. Yes, and his socks.
Yeah.
He was in good fooling, and I kept bumping into him throughout the day. No, he was very good.
Yes.
Shall I introduce me?
And you introduce you now. Yeah, because I would want to follow. I know.
Try to follow that act.
Completely made up titles.
I am Claire Jones, and I am the owner of a Red Hat, and I am one of the photography team at Northampton Saints, and occasionally I wander over to Loughborough Lightning in Bedford Blues. I'll be back this weekend. How exciting! And I live in Cambridgeshire, and the sun has come out. Ooh, what is this globe in the sky? Wow!
I know.
Yeah. And I haven't got a long list of names.
No, but the thing is, what you do is useful. What I do is just completely made up, and it's just about whizzing around chatting to people, whether they want to or not.
Yes, the same cameraman did get me whilst Danny Kerr was chatting to Ugo. I would say that I was in the technical area for a reason, because I was trying to get the players coming off the pitch at the end of the warm-up. So I moved my bag strategically so that I could, because Saints were playing towards the other end, and I could see the players come off. And there I suddenly found myself. I was thinking, I'm sure I'm in shot, but hey, it's his problem. And then suddenly my pocket started buzzing as people go, die! Yes.
I've had messages from all sorts of people. But we're going to start off with some news that was described as bittersweet. And I think that's right. So earlier in the week, it was announced that Phil Pask, who has been an incredible servant of Saints, is taking over as president, which is wonderful news. But the sadness note comes, it's because Uncle Keith, his health is not as robust as you would like it to be. There he is when he was robust, and with it, so it's an end of an era. Thank goodness we've still got Ella heavily involved, so the Barwells are still there. But sending you all the love, Uncle Keith. It wouldn't be the club it is. It wouldn't have maintained its clubbiness without the Barwell family and Uncle Keith involved. So thank you so much. And I think, Phil Pask is a genius appointment, really, for the role, I think.
Yeah, perfect appointment. And that photograph of Keith is, I love it, because we hadn't actually kicked a ball in the season. This is just before we played Worcester Warriors in 2008, and he was so revved up for the game that, as you can see, but no, he loved his rugby, and he loves his rugby. I mean, and he will always be a part of the club. And we wish the Barwell family, lots of love, as you said. Well done, Pasky. He takes over the role at the start of next season, so.
The fact he wasn't at Tottenham because he chose to go to Toulon to watch his erstwhile son-in-law captaining Toulon. So a quick congratulations to Lewis Ludlam, because that's who he is, who's captaining Toulon. So well done, Lewis.
How did they get on? I didn't look.
No idea.
Have a look.
That's too much excitement going on here.
all too exciting all round, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let me have a look. Yes. Not the 4th of April, Claire. What are you doing?
Here we go. Wishing
Here
our
we go.
lives away.
Top 14. Oh, they lost.
Oh, it's a shame.
They lost.
There you go.
Yes. Yes. It was a funny old weekend in France. Poe, on the other hand, because I do keep an eye on Poe, because it was a lovely trip, won literally with the last play of the game. Racing were winning. The clock effectively was dead. So that was like seconds to go when they kicked off at the end of the game. So all they had to do was get the ball back. But the Poe left wing caught the ball, ran down the end. Outside centre, caught the ball, passed it to the left wing, who went in and scored. Home for team medals.
Awesome. Excellent.
So well done, Poe. So, yes.
Right.
So what an exciting weekend.
Moving back this side of La Manche. Shall we go chronologically? Let's save the showdown till a little later. Training. You went to training and it was very cold. I went to training. I was
where it was pigging cold. Oh my God, it was cold. Oh Lordy Lord, it was cold.
After the week before.
Oh, I mean, I've got photographs. So Douse didn't put a coat on and he literally disappeared very hoodie. He was so cold. Yes, it was very cold. And
it was blooming cold in London. So I did say shortly before you phoned me to tell me, well, I bet Claire's really cold. Glad I'm not at training. Glad I'm shuffling from restaurant to restaurant in Putney.
Yeah, it was cold. And I was glad I'd put lots of layers on. I just had this feeling that it wasn't going to be like the previous week, and it wasn't. As you would expect, we had lots of the England boys back, and there was lots of buzzing around. And Ben Rhodes was working very hard with several, including Mitch, doing his stuff. What I would say, so Liz Tyler and I were stood on the opposite side of the pitch, and we could compare and contrast the running style of Elliot Miller-Mills versus the running style of Alex Mitchell.
Yeah, well,
interesting. But yeah, so they were clearly revved up for the game, as you would expect, and there was an awful lot going on. So yeah, it was great to see everybody buzzing about the place, and the team, I think, had some interesting twists to it. I thought. How about you, Saunders? Having JJ on the bench, having Dingers on the bench. But it was good to see everybody back, and of course we had the likes of Danilo back, who was just living his best life. Curtis was having fun. Craigo, so we did talk briefly. Craigo's moustache and hair is coming on nicely.
Yes, yeah.
So all in all, it was cold and and busy. I think would be this. There was a lot going on. What with all those in rehab land running around, and all those in preparing for the game running around, it was good to see. Yeah, it was a busy time.
Busy time, and all leading up to Saturday at
there was one person that I was delighted to see who was training. Sorry to interrupt, but I think we ought to make mention.
Right.
Hugh Shields was training.
Oh yes, I saw the picture.
Yeah. Yes. So Hugh was out. Freddie was out. I mean, it was great to see. Hugh's looking really. He's in mint at the minute. So well done him for getting back. Yeah.
Yeah, he had quite a horrific ankle injury, didn't he? He's had his ankle rebuilt, basically.
Yeah.
Earlier in the season. So well done, Hugh. I saw the photographs and I thought that was really, really good to see. So well done. So the showdown, the whole Saracens the whole Saracens thing. I do love that their media department's got ahead of themselves again, and they're billing the Leicester Tigers game as the battle for the top 4. Don't think so. There you go.
Yeah,
humility. They've
Saturday.
stopped doing that. They've taken that humility thing away, haven't they? Now they're just the first North London. I don't know what they are.
The original club of North London.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, and they had to alter that, didn't they? Because other people were getting a bit upset.
Well, they still had it round the top of the stadium. So you had fun on the bus. So you trundled down on the bus. We had fun on the bus.
I was just about to say about Saracens. Well, God loves a trier. Well, he is the only one in that case, I feel. Yeah, we had 3 bus loads coming down from the supporters club and other buses. I think a couple of other buses from other people. But I mean, lots of Saints supporters there at the stadium. You know, it was super to see. The stadium itself was awesome. Absolutely awesome. The stewards we found were delightful, ever so pleasant, and so many stewards you could practically have one each, it seemed. And in effect, you did, I believe, because you had to find your way from.
So I was very lucky. Eventually, Saracens gave us parking at the ground, so I was underneath the stadium, a long way underneath. In the parking there, I bumped into the Hendy family. So hello everybody. It was Laura's side of the family I bumped into, and Laura and Rob were there. So I think there was some Locketts and some Litchfields. So, we know there were some Litchfields. More of that in a minute.
Yeah, we do. More of that later.
Yeah. We saw you, Matt. So I. Yes, it seems that those of us in the media team who parked underneath the stadium broke Saracens' process. So I was escorted, along with Will Gutwell, out of the car park so that we could get our accreditation, because we couldn't get into the stadium without it. So thank you to the young man who helped me and Will get into the stadium, because it was a bit of a palaver. But from there on in, the staff were just amazing. They were utterly charming and beautiful. Did you notice how well dressed they were? They were just. It was like another planet.
We were just dealing with ordinary stewards in ordinary stewarding high-vis clothing. Maybe,
yeah, but, we were.
I saw later we were
behind the scenes staff. So it was. It was. They were obviously in Tottenham colours, because it's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I should declare an interest that I am a Tottenham Hotspur supporter. I used to go in the days of Ben Hoddle and Osvaldo Ardiles, Ricky Villa, and Keith Birkinshaw, and people like that. But I'd never managed to get to the new stadium, because I'm usually a bit occupied at weekends with a certain rugby club, and also I don't want to go and sit at the top of that stand. Oh my god, at the top!
Oh my god, it's high.
Yeah. Oh. So I was absolutely gobsmacked by this. So just a message to Christy: if you could organise a media room like this, that'd be lovely. That'd be really nice. I'd really like that. Notice it's all neutral green. But this is the media room. And in the background is a fabulous little sort of restaurant area where you can get food and drinks. And this is the working area for photographers. And this is one of my he's a guy who works at Quinn's quite a lot. So so it was, for those of you on Spotify, I was just showing you my Facebook where I posted about the media room. My dear friend Elizabeth, who listens to this pod, she is the one of the team at Newham Essex Beagles, the athletics club I occasionally work with. She put on my post, I'm sorry, I can't like this because I'm a gooner. So you're not alone, Elizabeth. Adam Gums, our other photographer's a gooner as well. But even he was impressed. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is something very, very,
it's
very
mint.
special.
It's mint.
It is superb.
A couple of the Saints players are Arsenal supporters, aren't they? I think.
Colsey, I know, isn't there? Somebody else as well. Anyway,
Manny? Is it Manny? I don't know. Anyway,
whatever,
don't want to.
Yes.
Anyway.
So
the stadium, the
message to Callum Chick. Yes, it is no St James's Park. You're absolutely right. It's got, for a starter, it's got big screens that you can actually see. But there are an awful lot of Alan Shearer impressions going on Saturday. Did you notice? The old finger in the air job going on.
No.
We saw you.
What I was going to say was, before rudely interrupted by Callum Chick, at the food outlets as well, we were well impressed with the food and drink outlets. There were loads of them, and they look quality, absolutely quality. We'd already had a packed lunch on the bus because we were organised, and but the bagels. Tell me you're in North London without telling me you're in North London. They looked awesome, and the pies all looked really, really good. Yeah. And there were loads of them. They seemed to be, moving the crowds really well. But what really impressed us, now here's a thought, the brewery in the stadium. So Toaster Mill, if you're watching, John, you're there enough. Could you not set up a brewery out there? Is it not part of the new village?
In the village.
Anyway,
yes.
That was.
So I've got. That's the first message for Christy. Could we have a media room like that? Although don't lose the mural that we've got in the current media room, because I do like that. And then the second request is, could we have the floodlights?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they were good. I dread to think how much they cost, but they were awesome. It was like daylight in there. It was just awesome.
It was incredible. Yeah. Yeah. I will have to say, as we were marvelling at the things like the ladies' loos, I think the ladies' loos at the Gardens are pretty bloody good, to be fair. But these ones at Tottenham were a whole level up from that. But then that's the difference. That's where the money is. I mean, the money in Premiership football compared with rugby was obvious by this stadium. But one thing, they got these marvellous, the Dyson hand dryers in the ladies' loos, and they are rapid. And I did say, when I came back, I said, Dyson is now part owner of Bath. Could he not create a sort of crowd dryer so that, being as you have to sit in those uncovered stands, could he not have a sort of, so that, and it's always raining in Bath. It's like being in a bath as well as being in Bath. So if he could just create a sort of type thing, that'd be good. Anyway. So the stadium, we were well impressed with the stadium. Now, you and I were discussing, because going back to where the old stadium was, which was there, but nearby, there used to be a pub. We can't remember the name of it because it is nearly 50 years ago, that when you went inside was done out like a street.
Yeah.
And the dartboard was done like in an alleyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was an amazing place.
Can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, anything. But I went there once on purpose and once by accident, as you do as a student.
Well, I used to be, when I was a student, I used to occasionally, when I could scrape together the coppers for a ticket, and tickets really weren't very expensive. I used to go and watch Spurs play, and it was an old-fashioned wooden ground with old-fashioned bench seats when I first started going, and then gradually they refurbished the old ground, but they just grew out of it. So the new stadium is effectively twice the footprint of the old stadium, because they bought some land next door, and so it is quite the most incredible. But it's all beautifully clean. So of course I was behind the scenes, so I could see the bits that people don't normally see, and everything is immaculate. It's all beautifully tidy. It's you can just amazing. Although I did manage to embarrass myself when at the end of the game, when I was trying to get back into the changing room for the Shoe Army song, I said to Will Gotwell, "I've forgotten where the away changing room is. Could you point it out?" And as he pointed to the very large sign that said "Visitors" over the changing room door, I thought, there it is. Yes, it was delightful. And then the away changing room isn't actually that big. It's actually, although apparently I heard rumour, I didn't actually go in there, but the coaches' changing room was palatial. They were very pleased. Yeah, they were very pleased. But it was a really lovely space, but it wasn't the fabulous one across the corridor where the home team.
No. Well, it did them a lot of good, didn't it? Anyway, the other thing we were talking about, discussing our student days in London as well, is that part of London is like a Narnia for public transport, because there are all sorts of forms of public transport there that you never knew existed. There's a whole overground system in North London that unless you live there, you don't know exists. It sort of goes into bits of London, and the bus is fascinating. Anyway, that's enough.
But they switched most of it off.
I know. Yes. So Jack Miller, who lives in London,
they've switched it off. Poor Jack Miller was reduced to live bikes as part of his journey.
Yeah,
I mean,
should have had the easy. Yeah. It was a bit. They did make it difficult to get there, but there we go.
Yes, it was a bit of a challenge. So we ought to congratulate Chunya, who
yes, definitely
50th appearance in green, black, and gold, and he would look very happy as he bounced onto the pitch. Henry, yes, we did know. Hello, the bear's back.
Yeah. Well, yes, there's a reason why he's back, because he has a name. Hutchfield Litchington.
Hutchfield Litchington, yeah.
Son.
Oh, I've done the original mistake. Hutchfield Litchington. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I would like just to say, Henry, timing your entrance is the same time as Dizzy Rascal. It was a bit too obvious.
That was all a bit bonkers, really.
Very good. Yes.
I mean, yes. To think that Jeff Parlin complained about somebody kicking a ball, he wasn't trying to do the blooming warm-up with Dizzy Rascal pronking all over. The pronking is a word, ladies and gentlemen. All over the stage, all over the pitch.
And then he had a mate halfway through. Some other bloke started. Yeah, I mean, you know. Yeah. Yes.
Well, anyway,
Dizzy is a good East London boy. The Newham and Essex Beagles folks like Dizzy. So
yeah.
He's an East London boy.
I quite liked some of his music, and I think when I was working with my young offenders, I think I probably killed his street cred by sitting there once we were chatting about music. What do you like, Mitz? I quite like that Dizzy Rascal, and you could see them going, we don't now.
We don't like him anymore. A reformed character.
So I apologise.
So working at the ground was very, very easy. We had a full complement of media team, with the exception of Bobby. Bobby wasn't there. He was off doing other stuff. But Will was there, and as along with Liz and Tom, Lewis doing his start term. And yeah, it was very easy to work out because there were no rules.
That's good. Always easier to work where there are no rules.
Having the pass of power that I did, I had one of these with the right collection of numbers. It made it very. I didn't notice the word broadcast at the top. I wonder what that means. Ooh. But this got me. Basically, they'd see this and just sort of wave me through or help me through. So that was very easy. I had to swap ends, which is why I ended up in the technical area in the manner that I did. And so the match began. And what a match. For the first 20 minutes, we were on fire.
First 20 minutes, absolutely just impressive. Just impressive. Tom Litchfield. I don't know what Ben Rhodes has done to him with the rehab. Given him more Weetabix, I don't know, but he's definitely seems to have found a yard or two of pace, and the lines here is running now are just immense. He's no longer Mr. Dependable.
No,
I think he's moved up a notch. What did I say? Mr. Inspirational now, because he's just
Mr. Scintillating. Are we going back to our conversation with
Ooh, Mr. Scintillating. C'est possible. I don't know. I think we might have to ask Tone if he thinks that's.
Who was there, as you would hope?
Yes, saw him warming up.
He's one of the travelling substitutes.
Yeah. So, just very impressive. Apart from one incident that we're blaming his father.
Well, I believe that, now look, Matt, we know all you're trying to do is help, but the crossing that resulted in Henry's try being chalked off and Liz giving her best huff look. Yeah, I'm blaming you.
Look. Yeah.
Get off the pitch. Let Tom do his job. He doesn't need the help anymore.
No.
Yes, so I agree. I agree with you, Liz. I think Litch has got a turn of pace that he's found an extra few metres. But it's his running lines as well. I mean, going against the grain for the first one and then coming round the corner for the second one. And we'll talk more in a minute about the at the end of the game. He's just and Douse described he's playing the best rugby of his career so far.
Absolutely, and he's offloading now as well. Has gone up a notch, because if there was a flaw, he would quite often go into contact rather than look to offload. But that seems to have again come on and just super. So Litchi opened the scoring with beautifully worked try. Thank you very much. And then Archie, we don't have favourites, but if we did. So he's again bounced right back up there and what are you pointing at?
Fin to Archie. Fin to Archie. I think Finn's break.
Finn's
show and go.
Actually, and Archie and Finn working together so beautifully. It was just a joy to behold. I mean, given that Finn's been away for so long, so that was a beautiful passage of play, and Finn pulling the strings and everything was going really well. Finn to Archie. Then Finn had to go off. Got a boot in the head.
As Kath Lester said.
Yeah.
Henry, look where you're going, love.
Yeah, Henry, special boots are not for kicking your mates in the head. Anyway, so Ferbs moved seamlessly down to 10, thank goodness. And again, hats off to Archie. That's the third fly half he's played with in 80 minutes of rugby. It's not easy to switch there, and you wouldn't have known it. And Saracens were spoiling like mad and slowing the game down and offside and just being little tinkers.
Yes, the game became a slog.
It became turgid. Turgid.
Yeah, it did.
The game became.
It did. It became turgid, and and I don't think Mr. Woodthorpe really knew what was going on in the scrums. But to say that they were scrummaging straight would be,
an over-exaggeration.
So Reece and Luke Green were battling out, and Luke basically they were wheeling it. I mean, it's like I ended up seeing rather more of TP than I was expecting in several of my photos. Like, what are you doing there? It was a bit weird. And
Flats on commentary said they were loading it all onto Luke Green all through Reece Carey, and
they weren't scrummaging straight, which I believe is part of the laws.
I believe you were supposed to. Yeah, if you're on the touchline and you can see a prop's bottom from the start of the scrum, the chances are it's not legal. Just saying.
Yeah,
Just saying. Anyway, so Archie, 10 points. Finn, 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 10 points. Finn,
I think you're right,
Just saying.
Mrs. Saunders. I think you're right.
Yeah. What do we know? So the first 20 minutes, first 20 minutes quite exciting. Second 20 minutes not so much. Then it came half time, and the light show and the fireworks were quite impressive.
I thought our defence at the end of the first half was also quite impressive. Before we
it was. Oh, can I just say, I'd like to take some credit there.
Ooh.
Because when we were pressing on the line, I went, right, I'm going to go to the loo. And Dr. T said, well, it would take something to score for us to score a try from there. I said, that's not just what plan A is about. It's about moving the ball away from the danger zone.
Oh, very good. It worked. It worked.
So it worked.
Not only did you get a chance to visit the lovely Ladies' Loos at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Ladies' Loos.
We defended
we got
the
a
line.
penalty.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. So
the second half.
To take some credit back.
The halftime light show was amazing, and I think there are two things that Dr. T and my IT department and I are grateful for. Stand Up for the Saracens is no more. Thank you.
Yes, we did mention that earlier.
Opera thing is no more.
Oh, yeah.
The wolf theme that they've got is actually really rather good. I will give them credit there.
I think that's very good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Like that. Yeah.
It's cool. That we'll have that one. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. So the light show was fabulous, and the floodlights did their stuff again, only in different colours. It was very nice.
Yeah, very good.
Very apparently, if you had the app, you could do your thing with your phone. Yeah.
Apparently so. I couldn't wait to get. I don't want my phone sullied with that app. Thank you. It's off now. On the coach, going home. Get rid of it.
God, yes. Not surprised.
So it was a special day for a Saracen. I think Elliot Daly, 100th game for Saracens, came out with his little girl. That worked really well then, because he was just all over the shop.
Very strange. You've never seen Elliot Daly pass twice, and then
to his imaginary friend.
Yeah. And then Owen Farrell got a touch of the imaginary friends as well. It was all a bit weird.
Yeah.
I didn't mind.
All a bit strange.
It makes it easy to defend when they chuck it off the pitch. But anyway.
We had George Furbank putting in a shift and playing sublimely. He is just such an elegant player and so tough. I'm after looking at his eye last week and how he has the courage to still go into contact after everything he's been through, I do not know. Just so impressive. But he's so strong. Doesn't look it, but he is incredibly strong, isn't he?
Yeah. No, he's incredibly strong. And he played really, really well. Really well.
Yeah. And
so we have to acknowledge the fact that they came into the game. So when we went 14-0 up, they scored a try through Elliot in the first half, and then another try through Teo Dan in the second half. So it's 14-0. And then we went into a period of sludge.
Oh, it was sludge.
We lost Manny Iogan. We lost Trev. And I hope Jamie George said sorry. I
am just right. I'm going on a rant now because Trev could not roll away because something horrible had happened to his lower leg. Mm-hmm. Jamie George, do not be slapping a fellow player when they obviously cannot move.
Yeah.
And Itoje, wind your neck in. As Anthony Woodthorpe quite rightly said, he couldn't move because he's injured. You're not getting a penalty from that. He could not move. And I don't know what had happened there. Something anyway. So just Jamie George, you need to apologise to Trev, and Itoje, you need to just shush when told to. That's it. I'm done now.
Yeah. So poor Lee Green had to come back on again.
Yeah.
But he did well. So I'm not having any of the pundits who gave him grief, and neither, to be fair, Flats wasn't giving him grief at all.
No,
it would. Yeah, it was 6 and 2 threes in the scrum, and I think the boys. Oh, she's got her coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee.
Yeah, I've got caffeine now. Just what I need. Yay!
Oh Lord. Here we go. Right. So, and I think they did just want to turn it into sludge, and it became a bit of a slugfest. When JJ came on, things changed a bit. And you can have a rant about Jamie George again, aren't you? That just sort of let you rip.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, blimey. Talk of it. So offside. It was in another postcode. It was just ridiculous. But should have been a penalty try. And obviously I want everything. I would have loved it. Should have been a yellow card. I would have liked yellow card and penalty try. I would have settled for either. For it to be neither was just ridiculous, and for it to be deemed to be held up when yeah. But then Carl Dixon as the TMO was weirdly quiet, but I think it's very hard when you dislike both teams so much. It must be quite yeah. And he did spot the high tackle, I believe, that gave us the penalty in the dying seconds. So, yeah, that must have broken his heart.
Yes. So Sergeant Wilson is going to be interesting this week. We do have to talk about Sergeant Wilson quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Because there was an awful lot going on. And I actually think Mr. Woodthorpe had a challenging afternoon. Not from his making. I think the players, certainly in the latter stages, both teams were so desperate to win. It got quite difficult. I just think I ought to show this for those of you on Spotify. I'm just going to show my screen. This is a first. Primo attempting the Sergeant Wilson Award for the Daily did check him. There's no and there's Bull.
He did. He definitely did. Yeah.
Daily did check him, and Mr. Woodthorpe is going for a chat with Carl. But yeah, no, it's not.
That was about the knocking into touch.
Yeah.
They didn't look at Daly checking, but yeah, that is brilliant. Fremo having a chat with Christoph, and that was when George was first getting cross because he wasn't being listened to.
Yeah, he was.
We all get crossed when we're not listened to.
We are. There we go. That's better. And I think Mr. Woodthorpe. At this point, George was furious. He was very cross, very unusually for George. Mr. Even Keel,
yes,
which is why he's the winner of the Sergeant Wilson so much. But I think Anthony Woodthorpe was actually trying to help him, almost pointing out that he'd get the same penalty result because the where the ball went out was effectively a 6-7 metre scrum line out anyway. So so I think our Sergeant Wilson rather rapidly realised that he wasn't going to gain a great deal.
That then at in the dying minutes after the JJ second, I mean, hats off to Saracens. Holding JJ up twice is pretty blooming impressive. And we said at the time, and they said on commentary as well, whoever was underneath him and that first time was a lot taller and slimmer than they had been seconds before, we felt.
Yes. But then we get hats off to. Then we get to the move, don't we?
Yes, but just before then, when the pile-up came and everybody was having a go, and Anthony Woodthorpe said, "Well, that was a bit extreme, wasn't it?" Which is a bit. Of an
understatement. I have got lots of photographs of. My favourite actually is Chunya and Nicky Zekwe laughing, holding each other. And then James Rand comes in and joins in. They're all laughing. Talk about comedy. But in the middle, as we've said so many times, there is stood an Italian prop, grinning from ear to ear. Yes. So I think Mr. Woodthorpe's comment, which was, Liz?
Well, that was all a bit extreme.
Yes.
So, and it was that point in that discussion was when George remembered he had to be Sergeant Wilson because Mr. Woodthorpe was actually beginning to lose patience and did the whole hands up and George suddenly went, oh, sorry, terribly sorry, most awfully sorry, and wandered off. So
yeah,
he rolled back in. But yes, but then led to the moves. So
Saracens by this time have taken a penalty. So Fergus Burke had come on, and they were now 17. 14 ahead.
Yeah.
And then we decided to run the ball. And
we're in the 77th minute here.
We're in the 77th minute, and George starts the move. And off we go. And Mr. Borthwick, if you want to know why this lad, for those of you on Spotify, should be
the weight of that pass, and I'm using weight in both senses, the weight to pass it and the weight of the pass was just a thing of beauty. There we go.
Yeah.
There it goes. And there's young Lich.
Mr. Scintillating.
Mr. Inspirational gets the ball.
And away he goes.
Does the Sarries defence. There he goes. Bursts through.
And
interesting facials there. Out the back of his hand, so it can't look
off
forward.
He goes.
And Arch is there on the receiving end. And he's fairly rapid.
Yeah, on he goes to score. You see, look, the Danilo Alan Shearer in the background.
Oh, yeah.
And off goes Arch to score. And as you can see here, in the corner of this photo, there is it's sort of funny colour. That's because it's a person. And I didn't get any of the try celebration because this gentleman who was working for TNT decided to stand up. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. All right. I got revenge in the end. We'll talk about that in a second. But you could just see, it is literally 2 minutes to go. And now it's about the things that we've been wittering on at England about.
Oh, God.
Game management. Game management. And we almost didn't manage the game. We did one bit well. And then it, yes. But it came to be that that a high tackle was given. Carl Dixon did actually, as you said. And so we had a line out. And this is where I got to. This is where I'm stood at the end of the game. So that's Curtis, for those of you. And there's George. And there's Kath Lester, the doctor. And Kira, I think, is stood just there. And there is the line out. So you can see how close I was to the action. It really is. It is a privilege to be able to stand there. But
it was the pick and drive, the tap and go that I have never seen a tap and go from that far up the pitch before. As the last move of the game to fill in time was just.
Yeah, and what I was trying to do was to work out where the ball was going to go at the end of the game, and where the ball was going to go, and then where the captain was, because I guessed that they were just going to jump all over him. And that's what happened. So I'm just going to nip off for a second.
Let's see it.
So I was really glad that I managed to work this out, and. Have I got the right? Yeah, I have. I've got the right one on my other screen. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. There is the try celebration. Try celebration. The game celebration.
The final whistle celebration. Yeah.
Final whistle celebration.
Yeah.
And I feel really sorry for Hutch. He's climbing all over him. So I actually kept shooting because in the end, look who appears.
Burst through.
A very happy Hutch.
Yeah.
Very happy Hutch with James Brown behind him. And so I was really pleased I got these photos because, I'd worked it out, and they have been incredibly popular. So first one in particular,
quite rightly so.
So I was quite pleased with myself there. I did actually work it out, and well done to them. It was a grim struggle in the second half, but as we've said many times, Liz, this team keeps finding a way to win.
And that's the third time in less than 12 months we've beaten them in the dying minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, that was very unprofessional. Very unprofessional.
But funny.
Yeah.
We did have a player of the match. Here he is. He had an outstanding game. That's Tom Pearson. For those of you on Spotify, I'm showing him getting his medal.
He did.
And he had a huge game in the back row. In fact, all the back row had really, really big games in different ways.
Well, apart from that show pony, Henry Pollock, he don't do anything.
Only, was it 4 or 5 turnovers? Yeah, okay. Oh, I remember the day we used to moan that we didn't have a jackler.
They showed his stats. So I think in the first half, they showed Tom Willis's stats, and he'd had 3 carries and no turnovers, and Henry had 11 carries and something, which is impressive. How he manages to do that jackling and everything with hooves, because he's a show pony, so he obviously doesn't have feet and hands, has hooves. It's
yeah, it was cruel, Mrs. Saunders, cruel. But I was just delighted for the lads because they
dug deep for that one.
They dug deep and they refused to give in.
Yes, yeah.
And
there was a lot of bullying tactics being used by Saracens, which I think is what they've used in the past. And they fortunately we didn't rise to it. I mean, it was just, as you say, there were a few of our players who were angry in a way that they don't normally get angry, and there must have been a reason for that. So yeah. Enough said. So are we going to make our awards then, do you think?
Yes, I think we should. We've got the Ladies Wot Pod Player of the Match, and we've got so many candidates there. The official one, of course, I've just said was TP. And then we've got the Sergeant Wilson Award, so which we can talk on in a moment. So, Ladies Wot Pod Player of the Match, Liz. Who are our candidates?
Well, Ferbs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
For switching positions seamlessly and just being Ferbs, really, and captaining and everything. Henry, unusually, because we don't normally do it because everybody does it, but he was everywhere, and he was just being a bloody nuisance. He was everywhere. Archie, because every display now he's growing in confidence, and was dealing with a lot of nasty ball coming because of slowing down tactics, and obviously still doing well. And Litchi, and I mean, any of them really.
I'd like to give a shout out to Luke Green, because he had to put up with a load of crap. And I think he just got on with his job, and in the same way TP described himself, he just got on with his job and just kept going. And having to come on when Trevor's injured, he just held his own and just got stuck in. So I'd like Luke Green to get a plaudit.
Shout out for the line-out operatives as well, because I think we stole one of their line-outs, didn't we? And that's
Josh
quite
Kemeny
impressive.
was stealing line-outs for fun by the end, and I think got cramp off the back of it. So yeah, and Lockett was
he did.
Yeah, Lockett was his usual self. And that is the puzzle that they're going to need to work out how they get when a team wants to turn something into an arm wrestle in the way that Saracens did. How do they get so that they are playing as they played in the end in that fabulous play for the try, rather more than they did. So, but that's all part of the joy. They're always trying to get better. They're always trying to improve. But that doesn't necessarily mean. So, I think for the second week running, we have to choose the man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't we? Where's the bear? Is he around? Yeah. Mr. Dependable as was. Mr. Scintillating. Hutchfield Litchinson.
Yeah.
Tom Litchfield. You are the Ladies Wot Pod player of the match.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's probably a Ben Rhodes and a Matt Litchfield lurking behind you because they're both media tarts. But anyway.
Yes, yeah. And shout out to Ben Rhodes for bringing you back to health and fitness in the way he has. And I know we do take the mick out of the media tart that is Ben Rhodes, but the work he puts in with the players, supporting them. I mean, it's driving them and supporting them is quite phenomenal. We are so lucky to have him.
Although beating up, excuse me, I'm just going to go back to beating up Ollie Slightholme with your boot is a bit harsh.
Oh, that's a bit harsh. He's just trying to make sure he still has clients. Is that what he's doing there?
Yes. But no, Ben works incredibly hard with the players, and here he is with Ladies Wot Pod player of the match.
And he'll tell you, it's for little thanks. They don't listen to him.
No.
It's like dealing with toddlers.
Yep. But shows what happens when they do listen, you see. Yeah.
Yeah. I love a Ben Rhodes rant. I just love him. It's made me laugh so much.
Well, when did you last see your stud? Anyway. Oh, dear Lord. Anyway, so Douse obviously talks to the troops, as he always does. And they've got lots of work to do this week. Everybody who needs running repairs, get well soon. I think Matt Lee and the medics are going to be busy this week, and I think Ben might be busy as well. In fact, we know he is because he always is. But it's going to be a busy week. And the nominees for the Shoe Army song were the lovely Chunya and the lovely Tom Pearson. And it was sung with extra gusto, because it always is. A win over our North London rivals is always savoured. Yeah, it's always savoured. We should also shout out to this gentleman here in the bottom. For those of you on Spotify, I'm back in Lightroom again, I'm afraid. This is Jason Civil. So he does Ben does with the forwards. And Jason likewise does a fabulous job with the forwards. So the Shoe Army song was sung with gusto. And it's going to be exciting what happens next, because we're back.
I was going to say, Jason, hats off to Jason, because he he is the man behind JJ's change of shape since joining us. And it's not been easy. It's not been easy.
Yes, he's had a challenge, and it started the moment a certain Van der Mesh signed. So he's done a cracking job, and as you can see, he's sat next to JJ. They do love these guys. They realise the work that they put in. Might be painful, but it does bring the rewards. So well done,
Sergeant Wilson. Sergeant
So
Wilson.
Sergeant Wilson, we did have a number of candidates. Obviously, Fremo's game attempt with Christoph going, really? I thought Fraser was a presence. He kept appearing on
always
a calming voice on Ferbs' shoulder. But Ferbs, I think, for a man who...
For remembering he is Sergeant Wilson,
is Sergeant Wilson
rather than Private Fraser, as I think was going on at one point. We're doomed.
So, we're doomed. So, I
You're
think
a stupid man, Captain Mannering. Yeah, I think he got there in the end.
It should be, of course, Captain Fairbank. So, but
I think the other thing, Sergeant Wilson, all the groundwork he's done over the seasons of being Sergeant Wilson, when he gets angry, Anthony Woodford was still treating him with respect. He wasn't dismissing him. He was understanding that for George to be angry, there must be something. And he was being quite kind to him, whereas he wasn't quite as nice to Marrow. It's just, no, just go away.
No, that was noticeable. Yes, it certainly was.
I'm not having this. I'm not having this. You're not shouting in my face. Just go away.
The other thing that was noticeable was the post-match interviews. TNT, particularly one Mr. D. Care, seems to have fallen in love with Archie. And they all love Henry. And of course, with the fact that two were old schoolmates, resulted in them being interviewed, and the Archie and Henry show took over, which was lovely, because Danny was almost wetting himself with excitement talking to Archie.
Being near Archie.
And then Henry signed a new deal with Matchroom. Now I don't know Matchroom because I've got nothing to do with the company, but I know of the company because my next door neighbour, this is my claim to fame, mine and my IT department, and Mrs. C's claim to fame, is that Eddie Hearn used to be our next door neighbour in Brentwood. And Eddie moved to the big house in Maskell's Lane when his dad moved out, and Eddie took over most of the running of the company. So Henry has signed with Matchroom. It's a new company. They've literally got Henry and a boxer I'd never heard of, but I don't really watch boxing, on their books. But it's not for his contract negotiation. So we won't see Eddie Hearn down the gardens. That's still with Stella, who look after the likes of Finn Russell. This is Henry's commercial deals, not his contract deals.
Well, he obviously thought he was in for a lifetime of those long, thin chocolates with either orange or mint in, because he thought he'd signed for Matchmakers. So, sadly disappointed that he's not getting them.
Let's. Anyway.
I thought it was they're an interesting double act. I think Archie quite likes being interviewed with Henry because Henry does all the stuff, and Archie is a lot more relaxed when Henry's there,
and a lot more confident. That's quite clear. From his first interview with Sarah Elgin a few weeks ago, he's in many ways his confidence in front of the camera has come on leaps and bounds. He's definitely growing. But it was funny that the big deal was turned into a mint and orange chocolate. So it was a grand day out. We all headed off home. Oh, sorry.
I must mention Craig Wright's moustache and beard. He played really well in the when he came on. I have to say, again, we forget how young he is. He's 22, 23, 22. Mitchell's 23. He's 21. Finn's 23. Good grief, we are blessed.
We are certainly.
Then you've got the old men like Hutch and Ferbs, Dingers, who are still in their 20s, ladies and gentlemen. It's ridiculous. So, but shout out to Craig, because there was all sorts of stuff going on in that front row, and Craigo didn't let it affect him. So, So it was lots of excitement. What I would say is, as a result of all the excitement and all the posts that I was putting out on these socials, I hit over 3,000 followers on Instagram. Wow. Wow. I'm honoured to be in your presence. You're probably an influencer now.
Well, yes, thank you. But what I would say is please do subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to the pod. Give us a like. The algorithm loves it. Well, I've also learnt this week from other YouTubers that you actually have to say the words on your pod. You have to say it on your YouTube video. So here I am, YouTube. Here I am, Meta, saying the words. Please subscribe to our pod.
Please subscribe to our pod. Please.
Yes.
Subscribe
Please.
to our pod. Is that pleasing enough? That's getting a bit desperate now. Getting a bit desperate.
Anyway, yes. So thank you to everybody who has followed me on the socials. It's great fun, and it really was good fun working with Adam Gums on Saturday. Having coverage on both wings is it makes it much easier. Although I was battling with the network, but that was my fault. I'm not even going there. Anyway, but I did manage to get a great crop of photos, and it was this try celebration photo. Even on my feed, has had over 20,000 views on Instagram. It got 500 likes on the Saint Supporters Club site. But then, if you go into the stratosphere of George Furbank, the numbers just go exponentially up. So it was a weekend of it was great. It was really good fun, and I'm really grateful to everybody who follows me. So thank you. Just keep buying the photos. Wheelchair Rugby guys will be very pleased. But we
after the final whistle, there were two things. The delightful gentleman from Saracens who was in front of us and having a quick chat. And he then explained that even though he's wearing a Saracens hat, he was in a win-win situation because his son Otis is in the Saints Academy. So hello to you. And singing the praises of the Academy that, as we know, they look after the players, the boys so well. And he is impressed with the way Otis, who's at St Joe's in Ipswich, is being looked after. So again, well done, Hoppers. Again,
work.
We know it.
Work.
It's nice. It's nice to hear it from somebody really on the outside. So not somebody who's a Saints supporter as well. So it was sort of quite heartwarming.
No,
so
very
that's good. And I saw a lovely little talking about Italians causing trouble. So Danilo had got I don't know, girlfriend, wife, I don't know, I'm not cast, I don't know. Anyway, it's a young lady that he seemed to know quite well who was in the stands, and he wanted to come down so that he could talk to her, and she couldn't climb over and get down. The steward said, no, she can't come down. So he said, well, in that case, obviously thought in Italian, I would suspect, I'm going up. So he clambered all the way, and you could see the stewards, the immaculately dressed ones in their silver suits, going, nah, you're crack on, mate, do what you want, I'm not stopping you. So he went up, and that was quite funny. But there
was a lot of interaction with the crowd. So the young lad who came to chat to me about photography, he was really desperate to come and be a photographer at the Saints. And I get a lot of questions. So I'm going to answer a couple, if I may, Liz. One of them is, if you're under 18, you can't come and work as a photographer pitch side because you won't get insurance. You have to be insured. But what he was doing exactly the right thing. He's working with his rugby club. He's working in the local area, so he's getting practice. That is exactly the route to take. Go and take photographs of, I bumped into a lad, I think we've mentioned him on the pod, that Kev Buckby introduced me to, and he's been taking photographs of his rugby club, working with the juniors, and that is the way to do it. Come up through the ranks and get your credibility that way. It's a tough gig, and making a career out of it is particularly tough. So think on if you want to go down that route, because sports photography is not the lucrative world that it used to be 20, 30 years ago. It's a very tough gig at the minute. But it was lovely to chat to him. He was very excited about my cameras. So do come and say hello if you're listening to the pod. Do come and say hello at the Gardens, and we can have another chat about it. there are plenty of opportunities, but actually working at a Prem or a European or even a Premier Rugby Cup game, it's very, very hard to break into it. And so that's why Adam and I both regard what we do as a privilege, because it's a tough gig to get into. We did have a couple of other games at the weekend, and then we've got some other news. Bedford headed off to the place that is the closest to where I live, and I couldn't go and shoot it. I was really
couldn't
cross.
get there.
Elijah Fields, ladies and gentlemen, breaks onto the pod again because they were playing at Cambridge, and it was a comfortable win for Bedford, which was great. And Lightning, oh, bless your hearts. So after Sale shots were nilled by Saracens, we had high hopes at Trailfinders, whatever the name of the stadium is, that if they could just get a win, and preferably a win with a try bonus point, they would be in with a really good shout at the top four. Well, they got the try bonus point, but unfortunately, the Trailfinders women beat them. But well battled, ladies. And Aleph Kelter, you get a chance on the old socials to have a look, or the highlights, have a look at Aleph Kelter's try. Oh my lord. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
We love Aleph. We love Aleph, don't we?
We do love Aleph, but the interplay was fantastic in the build-up. So, yeah, well done. So, in other news... Oh, actually, before we leave the league, we ought to say thank you to Harlequins for beating Bristol, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Well done, Quins. Yeah, so it was a big game weekend, apart from Sale and Newcastle Red Bulls. And so Gloucester, for some reason, were at Villa Park against Tigers. Seems a little bizarre because Villa Park surely is closer to Tigers than Gloucester. Anyway, so they went up there, and it was a sad ending for them. Bears took theirs to the Principality, and sad ending for them. Saracens took it to Tottenham, and it was a sad ending for them. So the curse of the home dressing room still is there at Tottenham's at the Spurs Stadium.
Liz. Don't. Sad Spurs supporter. Anyway, but it does lead us on to a bit of news that came out from Simon Massey Taylor, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we learned there were two things that were announced last week. One of which, calm down, everybody. In fact, we have news of the thing I'm going to ask you. Away ends. Well, it's not an end.
Away ends.
So we announced that the club announced, and everybody announced, that there would be a supporters area, Saints supporters area, at the Tigers game in a few weeks' time, and describing it as an away end is a bit of a misnomer, because joyously you're going to be at the top of the Caterpillar stand. Yippee.
In the corner. In the aptly named FU block, which is where they have tried to sell us. When we, as a supporters club, tried this initiative a couple of seasons ago about trying to get blocks where people could book tickets, and nobody was interested because they weren't in areas where you'd want to sit. And it's where they shove the family and friends of the players as well, up in the FU block, which I think says it all. So,
and as my IT department messaged me only shortly ago, that'll improve the atmosphere, won't it? No, it won't. Yeah. And he won't be in the clouds, so he'll be where he normally is, which is on the terrace. So, and that's the point, ladies and gentlemen. Calm down. It isn't a replacement for people sitting dotted around and with their mates and all the rest of it in the ground. It is an exercise in, if people want to sit together, they can.
It is simply going back to, as happened until, I don't know, 10 years
not that
ago.
Long. It went, well, it's been a few years since we used to get an allocation. That stopped a while ago.
The clubs used to get an allocation of tickets. Before, you could order everything online, I guess, is what really stopped it. So the club would get an allocation of tickets, and they'd all be in the FU area and other mysterious places in the ground. But there'd be a block. But you didn't have to buy them there. You could phone the ticket office yourself and get them, or buy them even online. I still get emails from clubs that I don't want emails from because I bought tickets through them in the past. But yeah, it is not, you are not going to be forced to go there. It is an option. If you all want to sit together in an unfeasibly stupid place, then you can.
And the conspiracy theorists who think it's the beginning of the end, get a life. Come on. Behave.
Yeah.
Behave.
It's the way it's been marketed. Instead of saying we will give an allocation to the away club, it's the away end. The way it's been marketed is wrong.
Well, I think it's the way it's been. I hate to, they don't actually use the term in any of the announcements, away end, but I think it's the way it's been picked up by the media and the like. Yeah. Anyway, now the second one, we have a lot more sympathy with the issue, and that is neutral venues for the semi-finals. Get lost is all I can say. Get lost.
Well, that's politer than you said beforehand. And when you finish getting lost,
it is a lot politer.
Up and get lost again until you get to the end of the planet, and then you can carry on getting lost in the universe.
Yes,
was basically our reply.
So the issue we have is that they even make reference to it in the blurb, which is that they're trying to emulate what happens in the top 14. But as always with the PRL and the RFU, they've only taken part of the equation, because in the top 14, the idea would be in the top 14 there's a quarter-final round where third and to sixth play a match, and the semi-finals are the top two playing the winners of those quarterfinals. So effectively, the top two get a week off, and then they play a semi-final, and then they play a final. So what happened? And of course, at the bottom of the top 14, there is still relegation. This new franchise league doesn't have relegation, so there's no jeopardy at the bottom. And if they bring in neutral venues the way they're planning to, because there won't be the third to sixth, stuff, it just literally means there's nothing in the top except for playing for the top four. There's no reason to go on and try and get the top two places.
Yeah. Once you're mathematically in the top four, you can
rotate your squad endlessly. The jeopardy goes away. Now, we get why they're worried, because to win a home semi-final is really, really hard. But actually, to win a semi-final is always very hard. And it should be that there is some reward that you spent all season battling to get up there. You should be able to take advantage of it. So, sorry, you got this one wrong, PRL. I get the groups of supporters sitting together. I don't get the neutral venues. And that particularly when the one neutral venue that they keep on about is the whatever it's called, Everton Ground in Liverpool or in Everton.
Who the bloody hell do they think is going to go there?
Nearest, other than Sale, who'd be very happy about it, other than Sale, the nearest club is Tigers, who are 123 miles away. Even Red Bulls are 180 miles away. So, imagine we got to schlep up to Liverpool to go and watch a semi-final. I did point out to a gentleman at the Times that it could be in a few weeks that you've got to buy expensive semi-finals in Europe. You've got to buy expensive final. Getting to Bilbao's not going to be tons, is it? Then you've got potentially now with this new idea of getting to neutral grounds for semi-finals, so that could be an expensive trip. And then you've got to get down to London. Meanwhile, in this new international championship that England are going to go trotting around the world, you've also got to save up for that. It's the same fan base, you idiots, and you're not going to grow it. It's not going to happen.
Not going to grow the game. No. Whilst making sure that there's very little exposure on terrestrial television, which may possibly grow the game. May grow it if you do it on terrestrial. We'll take it off that, and we will rinse the fan base, the same fan base. At a time when they do grow it,
the worry becomes then is actually not really worried in growing it. The connection with the community disappears. Yes, that is really what's going on here. The connection with the community disappears. So be careful what you wish for. I pointed out to you about what happened at Newcastle Red Bulls on Friday, Liz. The students have all gone home for Easter. Yeah. There was nobody at the game against Exeter because the students are off. So they're probably getting cheap tickets to get. So, the revival at Newcastle is predicated on giving stuff away. So before we get, bigger than our blimming whatsits, can we please cherish the game we have? I'm all for change, but have a thought.
Yeah. Unintended consequences. Just think, if this, then what? Look at where it will go, because that is so. It's so short-sighted, that neutral territory rubbish. Oh gosh, it was hard to get polite words out there, but I managed.
Yes.
We've not been taken off air. We're all right.
Yeah, we're okay. We haven't tripped that one yet. So, shall we skip gaily on to Toaster under 8s and 11s?
Yeah, talk about being cross. Yeah.
Somebody else who was cross was.
Yeah, our Alfie, very cross. Very cross. So here we are. Reports from they had a very, I think it was quite wet training and matches actually on Sunday morning. So here they are, Harry and Alfie.
So today we played Chipping Norton. There was another team that was meant to come to play us, and Chipping Norton were meant to send 18, but they only sent 10, and the other team just decided not to do it at all. So instead we played a club game and a Chipping Norton game. I was in the club game and we won. I played really good as a scrum half, and Ollie, our coach, said that I did really, really good. And I believe the Chipping Norton game we won. I don't really know, but I know we won the club game. And it was really fun, and I feel like it improved.
How many tries did you help?
I helped with most of the tries. I think I didn't help with 1 or 2 of them.
And how many tries did Eden score that you helped with?
All 8 of Eden's tries I assisted.
I played really well, and I got 2 packs and 2 tries, and I also assisted Xander 4 times, but then the coach told us that I can't pass to Xander, then no one passed to Xander, and then he got really sad, and also someone sweared at me.
So there we go. Very cross Alfie.
Alfie, dear heart, they're not telling you not to pass to Xander. They're only telling you not to pass to Xander, as in only Xander. The idea is that all your other friends in the squad get to see the ball as well. Yes?
Yeah. But I think
others have had to learn that one. I'm sure Archie had to learn that. He couldn't just pass to his big mate, Henry.
I think it happens with all of them, and I suspect it's not. I don't suspect that Alfie's been singled out on this. I suspect they've all been told you cannot pass to your best mate. You've got to pass to the others. So yeah,
the lesson they all need to learn.
And I am sure every mini coach who's listening to this has gone, "Oh God, yes. Oh, that's that," and spread out. Spread out. Oh no.
Oh, mind you, Jamie George was having to do a lot of shouting at that as he ran back towards the try line. I was thinking, oh, what's this? The under 12s?
Yeah, spread out from an offside position. Yeah. Anyway, so that's
walking rugby, skipping gaily on.
Sorry. Walking rugby. Yeah. So it was the launch of the Walking Rugby League that Saints have started. They had 8 teams competing across the course of the day, 2 from Saints. So well done, Callum. It was started with a handful of us, and it's really grown. And they had 8 teams competing all told, and the Saints teams finished the first day 3rd and 5th, and there are other days coming up. So well done.
Excellent.
Well done to everybody.
No, that's top really work, Callum, and the team. Yeah, well done. Yeah.
And competing against some teams that have been in existence for a lot longer. And I think, knew each other better as well, that had sort of been created by pockets of friends. So that, as we know, that makes quite a difference when you're playing a team game. So well done.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
as Alfie just found out. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, that'd be one to file away, just in case either he or Xander ever hit the big time. It would just...
Saint Supporters Club.
Saint Supporters Club, yeah. Well, we had a lovely day. 3 coaches, full, going down to Tottenham Stadium. I was impressed with the coach parking was so close to the stadium. It was like 5 minutes. Brilliant, really good. Well done for that. Yeah, my coach was very well behaved, actually. Nobody left anything. We didn't leave any people behind, as far as I know, so it's really good. So tickets are now on sale for the coaches for Tigers and Quins, and now the tickets are on sale for Tigers. It's an easy way to get up to Leicester, which, considering is so close, is quite hard to get to from parts of Northamptonshire. It's all right if you're Kettering and Wellingborough, the trains go, but if you're Northampton, think about going on the coach. It's certainly made for a really, really easy trip down to Spurs. So,
Excellent.
and Queens. The other thing to watch out over the next few weeks, we'll start ramping up the Player of the Season for Lightning, and which we will probably do through Lightning, through the media team there again. But certainly for the Saints Player of the Season, we'll be having the poll up for that in the forthcoming weeks. Yeah, that's it, really.
Excellent. Well, good. Lots of excitement ahead of us. Talking of which, we're back to Europe, and it's Castra.
We're back to Europe.
It's on Friday
back to the
night.
Gardens. Yeah.
Before then, we'll be off to training to see the lads at work. And I, of course, look what returns.
Oh yes, the purple bib of power.
Yeah. So that's back, and of course the Dazzles, will be out in full.
Yes,
Dazzles. Yeah,
Dazzles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wonder what the eateries will be this
time.
Well,
I will bring news of what it is in the changing room, media room. I don't really care what's in the changing room.
For, out of date ginger biscuits or jerky. If it's the chocolate, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Well, they tend to save that for it is the knockout stage, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Good news that the referee, I believe, is one Holly Davidson.
It is indeed, I believe, yes. Yeah, so that's fun.
So that should be fun. And it'll be a first match of this season for Sherpa too. Ryan Robinson's coming along.
Yeah, he's actually coming to it, isn't he?
Very excited about it.
Very overexcited.
And then the following day... Bedford are playing Cornish Pirates. So I will be heading off, and Cornish Pirates.
Ooh. What? So Cornish Pirates hosted Worcester Warriors on Saturday. Well, I say hosted. You don't normally slap your guests in the face, allegedly.
I don't know what happened there, but I know Jake can be annoying, but that seems a little extreme when you're director of rugby.
I was going to say, there's not many. No. Yeah.
Wow. Red card.
That's annoying us. Yeah.
Oh, no, Jake does have his moments of, yes. They all do. I mean, so. Yeah.
They all do, but still, it's not as direct. And you could understand if it was an opposition player, but not as director of rugby to stride onto the pitch and smack somebody in the mouth. It was a bit,
Anyway, it's up before the beat this week, so that'll be entertaining. Anyway, so Bedford are playing... well done to Bedford Blues women who won their league this weekend. They were crowned champions, well done there. Well done. Yes, so and you're toying with joining us at Goldington Road, aren't you?
Well, I am. I hadn't really thought past Castra, and two things. So past Castra, and then Easter Sunday, and then on Monday I'm going up to where am I going? Up to York. So yeah,
I don't know where you're going. Oddly, I don't keep a track of your diary.
Well, somebody needs to, because obviously I'm not on the ball. So we'll have to work out a podding day and everything. Oh my god!
Oh, it's
How
all
did
going to
I
be
ever have time to go to work?
Oh, it's just yes, never ending.
Too much. Yeah.
Yes, so lots of excitement. Europe and it's getting very close at the top of the champ. So Beffa Blues are battling it out, and because of course they have a playoff. The playoffs have been brought back in the champ, so it's all getting very exciting. Well done
Very
for their win on
exciting,
Saturday, and we look forward to seeing what they're going to do against Pirates on this Saturday.
Pirates. Yeah.
Yes. So so I think unless you've got
that's
anything else,
it.
I think that's
I haven't got anything else to say. I think horses should be happy, I think.
They should be well happy. It's another good episode for the horses. The dog walkers are going to be happy.
Excellent.
So yeah, I think we're
and it's better
sorted.
weather, so you can dog walk for longer. So it's all good. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Please subscribe to our pod. I've said it again. And we will see you all next week. And bye from the ladies. What?
Bye.